Right now, we're proud to have Steve finish up our concert series, We Save the Best for Last. Would you welcome Steve Spurgin to the stage?
Nice intro, Ken. We're out of time now, so thanks, folks.
I knew that was coming.
If you didn't get here for dinner, shame on you. That's my kind of stuff. You know, Ken and I were talking while we were stuffing our faces about, well, that's what old guys talk about. You know, all the old stuff. And we were reliving the days from the late 60s to the whole late 70s in Southern California, because there was this great music scene going on back there. And we got to discussing that, and I thought, you know, I'm going to start with this song. I don't, as a song, I'm a Texas singer-songwriter, whatever. Just put that down anywhere. That's fine. It actually makes me feel at home. It's like honky tonk, you know. When you hear beer bottles rolling across the floor, you know you're in Texas. But you know, I was supposed to start and do my own stuff, but I got to thinking about this, and I thought, well, shoot, I'm just going to do this one. I'm breaking some songwriting laws. Number one, I'm starting with something I didn't write. Number two, it wound up being a radio hit, and you don't do radio hits when you're doing folk stuff, you know. It's against the rules. But the first time I heard this song, I was working with a group called Old Glory back in the mid-'70s, and this song was written by a Texas singer-songwriter by the name of Townes Van Zandt. And Townes couldn't be here tonight to do this for you himself. He's been critically dead for several years now. So. But the first time I heard this was working with Old Glory. And we were working around Long Beach and Seal Beach. And that was back when the music scene that we were discussing was so lively in Southern California. Everybody was there. And there was no telling who was going to come sit in, because we'd just be playing, and you know, Rodney Crowell would come down and play for a while, and so would Emmy Lou, and so would Steve Goodman, God Grove City, New Orleans. He used to come sit in with us, and everybody was there. But anyway, we were the first band, as far as I know, to do this song on the West Coast. And then Emmy, I don't know whether she did it because we did it, but she recorded it. And then the next thing you know, Merlin Willie did it after Emmy cut it, and it became a big hit. But if you were at Mike's Munchies in Seal Beach, California in 1976, it sounded like this. Living on the road, my friend, gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, your breath's as hard as kerosene. Weren't your mama's only boy, but favorite one, it seems. Began to cry, said goodbye. Sank into your dream. Pancho was a bandit, boys. His horse was fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Pancho met his match, you know, in the desert down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying words, but that's the way it goes. All fed up wrong, they say, we could have had him any day. We only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues. All night long I keeps to dust poncho bit down south. Ended up in Lefty's mouth. Day they laid old poncho low. Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. Hell, ain't nobody knows. All the federalists say we could have had him any day. We only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. Oh, it's still a poncho film. Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. Desert's quiet, Cleveland's cold. So the story ends, I'm told. Poncho nature prayers, it's true, but save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to. Now he's growing old. All the federalists say we could have had him any day. We only let him go so wrong. Out of kindness, I suppose. A few great federalists say we could have had him any day. We only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. I picked her up about a mile north of Boston. She slipped up in my truck. Pretty little thing from Boston. And the thunder broke out across the sand. The lightning spoke in tongues I still don't understand. There's a sky, there's a cross, out and in between there's just miles and miles of nowhere through this land of sin and dust. I dropped her off at the Flying J. She said, "Thank you for the lift, mister." I said, "Baby, that's okay." And made my way back up to 10, about 50 miles away. And I see her now and then with her thumb out in the wind, and I close my eyes. There's a cross, out and in between there's just miles and miles of nowhere through this land of sin. sky there's a cross, and out and in between there's just miles and miles of nowhere through this land of sin and dust. How many of you had grandmothers?
That's a good one.
As far as I know.
Yeah. I
Great.
had two myself. I think that's a standard number.
Never can have too many
And
grandmas.
they were really different. My mom's mom, her name was Edie Armenta Graham Campbell, and she was a sweet little English lady, married to a feisty Scotsman, which means I'm Scots-Irish like all of us. I think we're all Scots-Irish, at least partly. Anyway, she deserved a song. So I wrote this for her, and it's called She Always Smelled Like Lilacs. And the reason I titled it that is because she was just a poor little farm lady, didn't have any money, none of us did, and bought her perfume at Woolworth, you know, those little 10-cent bottles, you know, and I thought it smelled pretty good, you know, for a little boy. At 4 years old, I thought that was good stuff. There's a lot of other things I remember about her, and some of them are in this tune. So. She was 22 when Orville flew to Kitty Hawk. She lived to see folks touch the moon and take a walk. She did a lot of living in the years between, and the twinkle in her eyes was from the things she'd seen. I never knew John Campbell 'cause he died in 45. That old Scotsman was a legend and a little wild. But Miss Minnie loved him dearly, and sometimes she'd sigh, say, I see John Adam in your eyes. And she always smelled like lilacs in the summer rain. She loved to bake a pound cake when the neighbors came. I can't imagine what I'd give to just sit at her knee again. She always smelled like lilacs in the rain. I can see her chasing chickens from her garden spot, and picking okra in her bonnet when the sun was hot. She'd read me Uncle Remus till I'd go to sleep, and then pray the Lord my little soul to keep. And she always smelled like lilacs in the summer rain. She loved to bake a pound cake when the neighbors came. I can't imagine what I'd give to just sit at her knee again. She always smelled like lilacs in the rain. There's just an empty place now where her house once stood. 3 steps that lead into thin air where I spent my childhood. No more lemon drops and doilies, no more fireplace when it's cold. Just a crooked sign that says this lot is sold. And she always smelled like lilacs in the summer rain. She loved to bake a pound cake when the neighbors came. I can't imagine what I'd give to just sit at her knee again. She always smelled like lilacs in the rain. She always smelled like lilacs in the rain. was up in Portland last night. Had a show up there, and I was Claire Levine. Does anybody know Claire Levine up in Portland? Okay, it was at Claire's house. And her significant other is Matt. And this is, if you know Matt, he's really quiet. He just sort of doesn't have much to say, sort of stays in the background. And I heard this song a couple of years ago, and it's one of Matt's tunes. And it took me 6 months just to convince him to send me the lyrics and some sort of demo on it, because I wanted to record it, which I did. It's on my new CD. And this is just a great little tune. I'm not sure Matt knows how good this song is. I tried to tell him last night that it's good, but he kind of shucked and darned and scuffed his foot, that sort of stuff. But anyway, it's really kind of interesting. My lovely bride, Vicki, is back there. We've been married 43 years next month. And she's sitting back there probably playing Angry Birds on her iPad because she's seen everything I do, Say what?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not at the moment? Anyway, she was piping up in the middle of the show last night, and somebody said, "Oh, you traveled with your own heckler." I went, saves time. Anyway, this is a great little song, and I absolutely love this. I can see this little girl. You're halfway home, got your summer souvenirs, sand in your shoes, singing songs that no one hears. Roadside stand up ahead, where Katie minds her daddy's store. Advice is free with a smile. If you want ice, it cost you more, she says. Peaches are 3 for $1. I learned to read when I was 3. I'll be 9 years old come December, and with 10 pounds of pears, get 1 free. Wax and string, no, I don't care much for beans. Black and bean, we get cherries from our trees. Mama got a job in town, but the boss don't know a thing. Hide and seek is a game my brother used to play with me. She says, peaches are 3 for $1. My cousins live in Dundee. They'll be here for a visit in the springtime, and we've got some honey made by honeybees. Bach and kale, the greens are picked fresh every day. My Uncle Dale never has too much to say. He came to stay for a while, now he lives in Brother's room. I wish his stories were real, and his dreams would come true. Peaches are 3 for $1. You see that window with the lace? That's where I was born. Tomorrow we'll have corn. Daddy says my pony thinks he owns the place. Peaches are 3 for $1. I learned to read when I was 3. I'll be 9 years old come December, and we've got some honey made by honeybees. We got cherries from our cherry trees. pounds of pears, you get one free.
10 pounds what?
Pears, you get one.
You got a good song.
What do we hear that for? Yeah.
Anybody out there from Mississippi? No Mississippi?
One Mississippi.
You been there? Well, I guess it's sort of well, I'm not from Mississippi either, but when I was a lad, that was probably back during Julius Caesar's Second Punic War, I'd sneak into honky tonks in Dallas. So I was born in McKinney, which is a little north of Dallas. And back then, those honky tonks, they didn't care whether you're 21 or not. If you had a heartbeat and $1, you get a beer. But I got to hear some great, there's this place called Luann's, big old roadhouse out on Greenville Avenue. It's not there anymore. It used to be out in the country, now it's just all city, like LA around Dallas. But I'd sneak into Luann's on the weekend, get to hear people like Nance Lipscomb or Lightning Hopkins, one of those 12-piece blues bands out of the Delta somewhere. And it took me forever. That stuff just sort of stays in your blood if you're around it or you grow up around some Delta blues and stuff. And it took me a long time to write one, but about a year ago, the urge overcame me, you know, so I just got into the little blues there. Let her run, boys, let her run, high falling the street of Memphis, blowing smoke and burning up that coal. Town I'm leaving in the dust, Lord knows ain't gonna miss it. Let her run, boys, let her roll. I think I'll pull my welcome out back there in New Orleans, taught them gamblers how to sing the blues. The dice were hot, I guess I got about each last silver dollar, and a sporting man knows when to use his shoes. So let her run, boys, let her run, I'm falling the street of Memphis, blowing the smoke and burning up that coal. Now I'm leaving in the dust, Lord knows I ain't gonna miss it. Let her run, boys, let her roll. I guess I gotta have to find myself a brand new shiny razor. I'm still back there on that ballroom floor. A big old boy was gonna bust me up, so I just had to cut him. And one thing for sure is he won't cheat no more. Let her run, boys, let her run. I'm on the street of Memphis, blowing the smoke, burning up that coal. Now I'm leaving in the dust, Lord knows ain't gonna miss it. Let her run, boys, let her roll. When I get to Tennessee, gonna make my way to Georgia, back to where folks don't care what I've done. Shake my daddy by the hand, eat a pile of mama's biscuits, sweat that whiskey out in this Georgia sun. Let her run, boys, let her run. I'm on the street of Memphis, 'cause she's blowing smoke and burning up that coal. Now I'm leaving in the dust, Lord knows ain't gonna miss it. Let her run, boys, let her roll. Let her run, boys, let her run. Hot balling straight from Memphis, 'cause she's blowing smoke and burning up that coal. Now I'm leaving in the dust. Long nose ain't gonna miss it. So just let her run, boys, let her roll. Let her run, boys, let her run. Speaking of Texas singer-songwriters, I'm tuned because I care, but see the problem is I'm tone deaf and I tune by sight. It takes me a minute.
Tunes by sight.
It took a while for that to work its way across the room, didn't it?
It hit us back here just like, whoa.
Well, okay, I didn't want Guy Clark to be the only guy that could write songs about food. I don't like my eggs runny. Runny eggs just taste funny, and I'm not some old egg-sucking dog. Hit 'em with some nuclear fission. Cook those things to submission. Fry 'em up as hard as some old log. Cook my roast beef till it's done. Bloody meat just ain't no fun. There's a reason God invented fire. Some folks think sushi's great. I guess it would make good fish bait to throw some catfish in the old deep fryer. Even if you ain't good looking, you want my heart, try country cooking. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Chicken and dumplings, good fried okra, half a big old hickory smoke, and that will keep me coming back for more. One of the places Ken and I were talking about when we were chatting, the old memory thing, was Topanga Canyon in Southern California. And back in 1980, I was in a group called Sundance. I was playing drums in that group with Byron Berline. It was one of his groups. I don't know if you know who Byron is, but a pretty good fiddle player from Oklahoma. That's a great band, it really was. See, Byron was on fiddle, Pete Wasner was on piano, Skip Conover was playing lap steel, Rick Kuna played guitar. And there was a young guy about 19 or 20 years old from Oklahoma that was hanging out. We were trying to help him out if we could. And he actually played the same pretty good. His name was Vince Gill. Anyway, we were in Topanga Canyon recording an LP, if you remember those things. You used to call them licorice pizza. And we took a break for lunch one day, or we thought we were going to get some lunch. Because back in 1980, there wasn't a lot in Topanga Canyon, except some hills and winding roads and trees and things like that, and one really good recording studio. So we're wandering around. Finally, after a while, we actually stumbled onto this little small cafe out there, run by these two cute little hippie gals in granny dresses. And son, this place was organic. We're all standing there looking at the menu board, and it was bean sprout this, tofu that, free-range organic chicken egg, falafel. And you got to remember, I'm from Texas, Byron's from Oklahoma, Vince from Oklahoma. We're just all a bunch of country boys. And finally, in sheer frustration, Byron said, "Don't you have anything in here besides sissy food?" And I kind of thought that's funny myself. So it took 40 years, but I finally go, well, no, it hadn't quite been 40, 1980, about 35 years, and I wrote this because I wanted to use that line, and it took that long before I could figure out how to use that. Nouveau cuisine's way too stuffy. Little dab of this on something fluffy. Sissy food just really ain't my style. Put some food down on my plate. So when I'm done, I'll know I've ate enough to keep me going for a while. biscuits, gravy, big smoked ham, real cornbread with homemade jam, country sausage stacked up in a pile. Don't try to feed me half-cooked tuna or something cute, 'cause if you do now, girl, you're gonna miss me by a mile. Even if you ain't good looking, you want my heart, try country cooking. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Candied yams, a well-done steak, some apple fritters would be great, and that will keep me coming back for more. 'Cause I don't like my eggs runny. Runny eggs just taste funny. Now, if that offended your sensibilities, I'll apologize. I know a lot of people like sushi, and I know a lot of people like half-cooked tuna. And that's perfectly okay.
And runny eggs.
And runny eggs. We'll move on to something that we all like, moonshine. Now, I know a bunch of good Christian folks like you have never even seen moonshine, right? Not a hand up.
I seen moonshine.
Kind of like church, isn't it? Nobody will admit it. Well, that's okay. But if you've never had good moonshine, I'm talking good moonshine. I'm not talking about bad moonshine. Good moonshine. It's a thing of beauty and a joy forever. And I found out a long time ago the difference between sort of okay moonshine and good moonshine. And if you don't know, I'll tell you the secret. If you're drinking good moonshine, what happens is the tip of your nose gets numb. And then it just spreads all across your face. And you feel like you've been at the dentist for that. That's good moonshine. Make your eyes bright, your teeth white, and childbirth a pleasure. So I had to write a moonshine. When Lucy Ann was 6 years old, she learned the shiner's trade. Handed down from her old man, the best spoon ever made, and it'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. One old copper kettle and a shining shack in the hills. It ain't much of a legacy, but it's always paid her bills, and it'll be alright. Fire on the kettle tonight. Dance, dance, Lucy Ann, around the kettle's glow. We can hear your laughter from the holler down below. Some say you read the future, and your granddad was a slave. I hear at least one revenue went to an unbarred grave. Get up, Lucy, and there's thunder in the wind. The storm blew a few of your shingles off, and the rain is trickling in, but it'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. preacher says the hellfire's gonna scorch all drunken fools. We just grin, shout amen. We all know the rules, it'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. So leave $1 in a mason jar by old Joe Carver's well. Come the dawn of whiskey fair, we will cast her magic spell, and it'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. Dance, dance, Lucy, and around the kettle's glow. We can hear your laughter from the holler down below. My daddy paid for his first jar in 1942. I hope you live forever. You're gone, what will we do? When Lucy Ann was 6 years old, she learned the shiner's trade and took down from her old man the best one ever made. It'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. It'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight. It'll be alright. There's fire on the kettle tonight.
We did
If this is
moonshine.
folk music or whatever it is, somebody's got to die.
While tapping their foot.
While tapping their foot, of course. So when I wrote in the car, I don't know if there's any other songwriters out there, but songwriters like to write in the car. Because your mind's on autopilot, you know. You think texting and driving is bad, you gotta write a song. I shouldn't admit this. I've actually been driving down the road with a pad of paper in one hand. Trying to, yeah, I know, I don't do that anymore. That was before smartphones and stuff like this. When people knew how to use pen and paper, remember that? That was kind of fun. Anyway, a couple of years ago, I was on my way back from up here, the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what I was doing. Trying to hide from the IRS, maybe, but I don't know. Anyway, I was on my way back home. I live in Carson City, Nevada these days. So I was kind of getting close to home as I got about Susanville. This sort of just showed up. Anyway. I love it when people die in songs. Right? That's my Irish blood. Took the girl that I love best for a little trip out west, the biggest little city I know you know. For a small town girl, those neon nights hit her right between the eyes, and she was blinded by the lights of Reno. When we hit town, she dropped me quick, hooked up with some guy named Slick, big old boy with rings on every finger. She gambled till it was all gone, said, baby, I'm not coming home, stole my car, they both ignored the danger. I couldn't watch a good girl just go bad. Pulled me up, broke me down, took everything I had. I thought her love was built to last. Shows you how much I know. Blinded by the lights of Reno. caught them down on 2nd Street in a joint we were all low down to meet. Shot them both right there while they were laughing. Walked off with a smoking gun, hit the door and began to run into the Reno night where the lights are flashing. Well, dodged along the best I could, but with a face like mine didn't do much good. And the Carson City Jail is where I landed. And now I'm in a death row cell, no second chance and no need for bail, cause the judge said, boy, better just throw your hand in. But I couldn't watch a good girl just go bad. She tore me up and broke me down, took everything I had, and I thought her love was built to last. That shows you how much I know, blinded by the lights of Reno, blinded by the lights of Reno, blinded by the lights of Reno. Well, you know, I've got this other thing sitting over here and it's getting lonely, so we'll switch weapons on you for a minute. The reason I do this is because this is in a really weird tune. And it's about to get weirder. Do not. Don't try this at home, you hurt yourself. Because this is what songwriters do when you got too much time on your hands. And you sit around and get creative and stupid. Cause yourself lots of problems. And we're not quite there yet. Good chord, isn't it? All the places I have been to, the things that I have seen, since I left my home to wander when I was just 15. Though the traveling was easy, still sometimes the road got rough. By the time that I turned 35, thought I'd seen enough. But for me to settle down a while was not what God had planned. So one more time I left my home, a suitcase in my hand. Though the journey took me far and wide, across the deep blue sea, now I know since I've been there where I was meant to be. I've seen sunsets on the ocean, I've seen the desert bloom, driven endless highways beneath the prairie moon. Yet the picture in my mind I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves in Carolina in the fall. Now for 50 years, I've played the songs that Doc has taught to me, and all the things he sang about never thought I'd see. In the hills of Carolina, folks have opened up the door, and for the first time in my life I'm not a stranger anymore. I've seen sunsets on the ocean, I've seen the deserts bloom, driven endless highways beneath the prairie moon. But the picture in my mind I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves in Carolina in the fall. fall. The picture in my mind I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves in Carolina in the fall. I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to take a brief intermezzo. I bet you didn't think I knew a word like intermezzo.
What's that mean?
I haven't quite, I don't know. I heard it once and it sounded pretty nice. Just 10 minutes or so, we can stretch our legs and you can refill your beverage or whatever it is, or unfill your beverage. And then I'll be back because I've saved all the good stuff. So don't go away. I mentioned in my first grandmother tune, I'll do the other grandmother song on the back half of this, but I mentioned my granddad that I never got to know. He died before I was born. His name was John Adam Campbell. And my mom, bless her heart, she got it in her head one day that she wanted to become a member of the DAR. So I don't, thank you, appreciate it. I don't know if you're familiar with what you have to do, but you got to trace somebody in your family, go back and find somebody in your family, a relative that fought in the Revolutionary War. So there she went. She started searching, and by golly, she finally found somebody, and she got her little DAR membership and all that. But she got sort of fascinated by it and kept going, and she went all the way back to 1156 to a sister of Robert the Bruce.
Wow.
So my granddad, John Adam Campbell, I've got the whole thing, sheets of it. And it's like John Adam Campbell, John Campbell, David Campbell, John David Campbell. It just keeps going back, and they were the Dukes of Argyll. So you're in the presence of Scottish royalty, a little respect. You see how far that got. Actually, I want to say something real quick. This is one of the coolest places I've ever played. And I've been doing this almost 51 years. I started in 1965, so I'm going to keep doing it till I get some of it right. But anyway, I didn't get to know my granddad, and I'm not sure I believe in muses or spirits or whatever. But I didn't know much about my granddad. My mom didn't tell me much about him, except that I knew he was a farmer. She said he was really good with chickens, and he could drink a barrel full of whiskey, which might be why I kind of like the stuff myself. So I thought if I'm going to write him a song, that it's going to have to sound a little bit Scottish. This is as close as I can get to a bagpipe. And it's got to be, yeah. Thank God it really isn't one. It's a guitar player by the name of Tony McManus. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Oh, a great player. He's Scottish, and the way he describes the national instrument of Scotland is desperately loud. That's the way he puts it. So anyway, let's get on with this song. Caught the wind, he's back again, leaning in the corner, smelling like an old peat fire, humming some old song, a long forgotten melody, just like the bard who wrote it. He's there just when I need him, and he's never done me wrong. I'm sure I heard him whispering the name John Adam Campbell. Used to call him Argyll once back in the mist of time. I can feel him take my hand while saying, "Laddie, let's go ramble. I've got the means to travel, where there's reason and there's rhyme. Let's go down to Whiskey Town and conjure up a song. It's all the fault of single malt, I knew it all along. Until the sun comes up and find another bottle. Whiskey before breakfast can be more than just a song. 'Cause in that old guitar, hey laddie, let's go ramble. Got the means to travel to the place we both belong. Let's go down to Whiskey Town and drift among the spirits. It's all the fault of single malt, but it sure has its merits. Oh, Whiskey Town, let's go down. Thanks, folks. I'll be back in a minute. Stay around. Thanks.
Well, Steve's got a guitar here in his hands. That is that the yeah.
The Mossman?
Yeah. I think we talked about this once before. Did you know Stuart Mossman? Yeah.
Winfield, Kansas.
Right, Winfield, Kansas. Handmade guitar by Stuart Mossman, a friend of ours who wanted to give Martin Guitar a run for their money, and he did. And what's cool about these guitars is that every one of the people in the factory, and there were 15, 16, something like that, small factory, they signed it. Every one of them was signed in it. And there's a mystery signature in there. Did you know that?
No.
There's a mystery signature in there.
Okay.
And so after tonight...
Elvis!
Sure, blow up for me. Yeah, right.
Who was it?
And there's he did it with jelly out of his peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Banana.
He didn't sign it in blood, he signed it in jelly.
Okay.
Now I'm not gonna tell you who this signature is.
So I gotta find it?
You do, you gotta find it.
Take it apart.
And then
No.
I like that. Yeah. So, Steve, what's all the excitement in Carson City? What's everybody do on a Saturday night when they're not out playing gigs at Trexler Farm?
Well, let's see. Vicki, what do we do on Saturday night? We usually have dinner at, huh?
We hide from the
We
tourists.
do. We like to eat at 4:30. You know, we just have dinner and watch Netflix.
Do you gamble?
No. Life's enough of a gamble.
Life is enough of a
You
gamble.
know, it's really interesting. I don't know if anybody's ever lived in Nevada, but every gas station's got slot machines, and the grocery stores have. And after a while, you don't see them. You just don't see them.
Well, I understand in Goldfield, Nevada, they have a slot machine arm on the bathroom door, and you have to get 3 cherries in order for that door to open up. Is that true?
Yeah, but that's why they also still have outhouses in Goldfield.
We have a mutual friend that has a community radio station in Goldfield.
KGFN.
Yes, sir. And what is Goldfield known for?
Well, it's
Outhouses? Yeah.
Let's see. It was obviously an old gold town.
Yeah. But it was also home base for what famous facility nearby?
Well, you're talking about The Shady Lady
area.
Ranch. Oh.
No. Yeah, I see what you do on your visits to
Well, see,
Gulfville.
that's, no, Vicky's always along. Between 95 and 90 and 91 over there, which runs north of Vegas, you know, if you head east of Goldfield, yeah, eventually you'll get to Area 51.
Area 51. Everybody knows what that is, right?
But it's a very cool old ghost town. It's got about
It
200,
is.
well, it's got 280 something people in it. But it's they've got 2 bars now, so you can actually have a pub crawl in Goldfield. One of them has a billboard that says, "Welcome to Goldfield, Nevada, home of the world's meanest bartender." And she sort of is.
Yeah, but they don't call it a pub crawl there. They call that a gutter crawl.
There are no gutters in town.
Well, there you go.
You
So
just-
now they do.
You knee walk.
And you.
From
Anyways, Steve, tell me about the group F-150.
Oh, well, that was the group that turned into Sawmill Road. I don't know if you're bluegrass
Sawmill
fans or
Road.
not, but the F-150s were the original, the incarnation of Sawmill Road. The reason we called it the F-150s is because it was a pickup band.
Which is
See, we have some
exactly why
musicians
I
here.
brought it up. You know, most of us spend hours trying to figure out what to name our bands. We come up with these glorious names. But F-150, you needed to dig a little bit deeper on that one.
And go where?
In your F-150, someplace to
Oh.
think about it. Yes.
Speaking of Mason Williams, which we were talking
We were,
about,
yeah.
if you remember the band, a couple of people here have mentioned the group California
Yeah,
that I
great
was
group.
in with
They're
Byron.
all dead now, aren't they?
No. We're all still very much alive. Byron Berline, Dan Curry, John Hickman, John Moore, and myself. That was California. Well, we were trying to come up with a name for the band, and if any of you are band musicians, you know that that's really hard. Like Ken says, it's tough.
Or you can go with F-150.
Hard. He likes this. He likes it. I actually got a bowling shirt. I had that engraved on the back, embroidered. But we were the band was at a place in Utah. Snowbird, Utah is where we were. And John Moore had just joined the group. So we were trying to come up with a band name, and we weren't having any luck. And Byron said, "Let's call Mason." So we called Mason. You know who Mason Williams is?
Classical gas.
Most intelligent man I've ever met. And really, yeah, he lives here in Oregon.
The Moose Goosers.
How about them moose gooses? Ain't they obtuse? Running through the backwoods, goosing them huge moose, goosing them tiny, goosing them meadow moose in there, honey. How to be a moose gooser, it'll turn you puce. Get your gooser loose and rouse a drowsy moose.
Mason Williams.
Mason. Anyway, we called Mason on the phone. We went, "Mason, we need a name for the band." And he went, "Hanky."
No.
You know? Hanky, as in thank you. Hanky!
Hanky.
There you go.
As in handkerchief.
Yes, we don't, well, no, as in thank you.
Oh,
Backwoods, thank you. Hanky!
Hanky.
We said, "Thanks, Mason, good to talk to you."
anyways, always a pleasure to get to work with Steve. I've worked with Steve a few times, and a wonderful way for us to end our concert season. Our concert season starts, I think our new one starts September 9th. Mary Flower from Portland, who's a great blues and ragtime guitar player and singer, will kick it off for us. And just booked these Midnight Serenaders. Anybody know who they are? Do you know who they are? Doug Salmons and his group. They are, yeah, swing group. Yeah. So others, they'll be coming up. Wonderful Don Rigsby, a great bluegrass mandolin player with Tom, I think his name, from California. Huh? David Tom, thank you. They'll be here in January. Fabulous shows, and if you like what we've done tonight, we urge you, when you see the advertising come out in Canyon Weekly, maybe Statesman Journal, certainly on KYAC, be sure and get your season tickets, because our shows have been selling out, and we'd like to have this same group back. We don't want anybody else. We want you to come back. I can if you'll talk with my wonderful partner over here, my wife, Jan. Leave your email with her. She puts up with all this nonsense that I get involved with, radios and concerts and roofs and things like that. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. Yeah, I do. Anyways, let's get back to Steve Spurgin and some of the great songs. Steve, thank you so much for coming to Mehama.
My pleasure. Is that where we are?
Yeah.
We're in Mehama?
Yeah, do you know how to spell that?
Well, if I could see the sign up there, I would. It's Mehama. How's that?
Close. There's Mehema. That was a test. Steve Spurgin, everybody. Be sure to get his book, his CD.
You folks are lucky to have some crazy man like Ken Cartwright running around the neighborhood. Because stuff like this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for people like Ken, really. I mean, honest to goodness. And he wasn't kidding about the roof. He was up on the roof of the station this afternoon, putting on some new shingles, you know. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of work and a lot of want to do something like this. So Ken, thanks, buddy. I mean, we appreciate your hard work. I certainly do. And I noticed that he hadn't done anything like this, so I got one of the bumper stickers. And I know that this isn't WSM or the Grand Ole Opry, but we, if anybody takes a photo now, we have our official bumper sticker. So you're missing out on that free publicity, pal. Somebody asked for this, so here we go. I've been hanging out in town in this low-down rain, watching Good Time Charlie friend driving me insane. Down on shady Charlotte Street, green lights all look red. Wish I was back home on the farm in my feather bed. With myself a rocking chair, see if I can lose them Van Dyne hard time, hell on Church Street blues. I found myself a paper, friend, read yesterday's news, folded up page 21, stuck it in my shoe. Gave a nickel to the poor, my good deed for the day. Took out my old billfold, threw it far away. I get myself a rocking chair, see if I can lose them Van Dyne hard time, hell on Church Street blues. Wish I had some guitar strings, the old Black Diamond brand. String up this starvation box, go and join some band. Yeah, I guess I'll stay right here, play and sing a while. Try to make me a little change, give them folks a smile. I get myself see if I can lose them Van Dyne hard time, hell on Church Street blues. Gonna give myself a rocking chair, see if I can lose them Van Dyne hard time, hell on Church Street blues. was St. Patty's Day. Vicki and I were traveling, and let's see, that was Thursday, wasn't it? So I got to do something Irish here. Sort of Irish. Well, I'm part Irish, so I guess if I wrote it, that counts. How many of you know Red Steagall? Anybody know who Red Steagall is? I know a couple of you probably do, one or two. If you're not into the cowboy world, you might not know Red, but a good buddy of mine, I've known Red for a long time. He lives outside of Fort Worth, Texas. And he's the official cowboy poet of the state of Texas back at the legislature, and he is a member of the Cowboy Hall of Fame and a great songwriter. He's the guy that actually discovered Reba McEntire. And knowing Red, he probably still has a percentage of that. But this is one I wrote for Red by request. And he doesn't need me writing songs for him. Red's a great songwriter. You probably heard this one. Here we go again. Remember that one? She's back in town again. She'll break my heart again. One more time. Oh, that was a huge hit for Ray Charles. Remember that song? Everybody else under the sun recorded that tune. And Red wrote that. That's one of his songs. And I asked him on the phone one day, I said, Red, how'd that song do for you? And he said, paid off my ranch. So I guess it did okay. Anyway, Red he had a project in mind, and there's two reasons I want to do this. Number one, because I miss St. Patty's Day and I want to do something Irish. But the other reason is because Red was doing a CD project a few years back called Wagon Tracks, and the whole thing was a progression, and it was about people leaving Europe and migrating to the United States in the 1800s and working their way eventually on to the Oregon Trail and winding up here. That was the whole story of the thing. And he called me up on the phone. He said, I want you to write me a song about somebody leaving Ireland coming to the United States. 1800s. I went, okay, Red. And a couple hours later, I called him back and I said, where do you want me to send it? And he said, what? And I said, the song you want. This is one of those that if you're a songwriter, it happens once in a while. It just, boom, within 2 hours I had it written, demoed, and ready to go in the mail. Molly stood crying, her tears flowing down like a storm on the cold Irish sea. She said, Jamie, me boy, are you just bound to go? Don't you care for your mother and me? I said, Molly, you know you're the love of my life. No plan to leave you behind. But I'm America bound. When my fortune is found, I'll send for you both in good time. If I never see Ireland again, still have the love of my family and friends to carry me safe to that faraway shore where I have a new life to begin. If I never see Ireland again, with a handful of soil from my daddy's poor grave and a bag that holds all that I own, trust to the Lord and the wind and the waves to guide me toward a new home. The posters all say that the West is the way, the land where my soul longs to be. But the skies never end and the big rivers bend and the country is wild and it's free. And if I never see Ireland again, I still have the love of my family and friends to carry me safe to that faraway shore where I have a new life to begin. If I never see Ireland again, Colin, he said, let her know you're new wed, but come join me, we'll be heading west. There's a world to be found and it's glorious ground for a man who can just pass the test. If I never see Ireland again, I still have If I never see Ireland again, if I never see Ireland again, I still have the love of my family and friends. Carry me safe to that faraway shore, where I have a new life to begin. If I never see Ireland again. Thank you. You sure you know what this is in? Do you? Okay. We'll see if you're right. When you're a kid, adults are always busting your hump to do your homework and don't sit there like a lump. They don't want you to party or have your fun. They say they didn't do it back when they were young. So if you work hard and you ain't a total chump, you might wind up like Donald Trump. Or would you rather play the guitar, bring your money home in a jar? I'm a coffee house on a bar. Or would you rather get a job? A job is the thing that makes you get out of bed and work every day until you're dead. Your back is aching and your mind is numb. You can't hardly wait until the weekend comes. But if you don't want to starve or beg or rob, you best go out and get a job. Or would you rather play the guitar, drive for miles and miles in your car, and pretend that you're a big star? Or would you rather book the gig? The agent is the one who gets his 20%, and what he says ain't exactly what he meant. 'Cause he's got more ways to screw you than you ever thought. 'Cause he's good at business and he knows you're not. And then he'll sue you if you ever make it big. 'Cause he's the one that booked the gig. Or would you rather play the guitar for a living, hardy har har? You must admit it's kind of bizarre. Would you rather be the wife? The wife is the one who has to rescue our butts. She's either a saint or else she's nuts. She gets irritated, she gets annoyed, 'cause she's the one that has to stay employed. So if you ever get the urge to wreck your life, become a guitar player's wife. 'Cause all the monkeys aren't in the zoo. They can be taught to play guitar too. Some a whole lot better than you. So even if you don't get far, you could be worse off than you are. You could be playing your guitar. Sometimes they just hurt. I haven't done one of those Poor Pitiful Me singer-songwriter. You know, it doesn't matter what capo you buy, they go, this is the one. Your guitar will not go out of tune. I don't really have to do that. I just do it because it looks impressive. When Vicki and I, that's my wife Vicki back there, and those of you who were around the CD table saw my lovely Cartwright. And if you got a CD or book, I appreciate that. Like my friend Dennis Kaplinger says, guys, flirt all you want, as long as you buy something, it's okay. But when she's my California surfer queen. She's from Fullerton, California, and we met back in 1970. Really? We met in 1970?
In 1990.
No. Don't be lying. Got married in 73, so gosh, we've known each other 46 years. And there hasn't been a death in our family yet? That's pretty good. Anyway, we left Southern California in 83 to move back to Texas for a while before we left and went to Carson City, Nevada. But anyway, I was back in Texas about a year before I realized I had broken one of the songwriter laws. And this is a jailable offense. If you're going to leave LA, you have to write your Leaving LA song. And I had neglected to do that, so I had to get around to it pretty quick. So this is my Leaving LA tune. If LA was a lady, there'd be no paint and powder. There wouldn't be one thing about her to lead your heart astray. If LA was a lady, she wouldn't take your gift and hock it. She just picks your pocket and steals your soul away. When I was much younger, she looked at me in wonder, and I believed her favors could be tempted for a song. All I saw was perfection, blind to her deception. A garden green like Eden was just desert all along. If LA was a lady, perfume still would linger. Her kisses would be tender and her love would never sway. But her kind of love has always been cold and dark as mortal sin. If LA was a lady, there would be no price to pay. How the streets can glisten as the rain runs for the mountains, diamond nights and neon lights take your breath away. The suitors have been many, and I wonder if there's any bigger fool than me whose dreams just fell to dust and blew away. If LA was a lady, a little hard time wouldn't matter. She promises forever when she asks you out to play. If LA was a lady, her vows would go unbroken, but with twisted truth, she took my youth and sent me on my way. If LA was a lady, there would be no price to pay. Time for me to do my other grandmother tune. That always makes me nervous. My first grandmother's song was a sweet little English grandmother. This is the one about the cranky old German. Well, my dad was the oldest of 10 kids, and he was born in 1912. So my grandmother and grandfather were out on this dirt scrabble farm in Texas trying to raise 10 kids during the Depression, and that would make anybody cranky, I think. But there are rules of the road if you're a poor farm folks, and some of you probably know what I'm talking about. If you needed something, didn't have it, you either did without it, you made it, or you borrowed it from a neighbor. You know, that's sort of the rules. Well, my grandmother had this stuff that she whipped together that they used from everything from chicken pox to horse liniment, and sit up on a cabinet in her kitchen. Nasty stuff. And I managed to get all the way growed up without having to get dosed by that stuff. And she looked at me and said, "Boy, you okay? You look a little peaked." I went, "No, I'm fine. I feel just great, thank you very much." Grandma's got a remedy for you and me, and if you're what else you, yes sirree, I do believe it's true. Grandma's got a remedy for you and me. If you're what ails you, yes sirree, and it'll make you happy too. Well, it's black as tar and tastes like ink, but if you're sick and start to sink, it'll put you right back in the pink, and it'll change your attitude. It's good for fleas, croup, and gout, and if your glands start pooching out, take a double swaller and you'll find out it starts to taste good. Hey, Grandma's got a remedy for you and me, and it'll cure what ails you, yes sirree, I do believe it's true. Grandma's got a remedy for you and me, and it'll cure what ails you, yes sirree, and it'll change your attitude. Eat your heart out, Tony Rice. Well, not long ago, she said to me, "Boy, here's the family recipe. This old world's about through with me. I'm gonna hand it down to you. It's been around about 100 years, kept us well through joy and tears. If you lose this, oh, I'll box your ears. Now here's just what you do. Blackstrap molasses, turpentine, red pepper, elderberry wine. Quartz Grandpa's rebel yell, and be sure to hold your nose. And bury it in a jug out back. Wait until it's good and black, and then strain it through a flour sack, and don't get none on your clothes. Hey, Grandma's got a remedy for you and me, and it'll cure what ails you, yes sirree, I do believe it's true. Grandma's got a remedy for you and me, and it'll cure what ails you, yes sirree, and it'll make you happy too. It'll cure what ails you, yes sirree, and it'll change your attitude. I was talking to somebody before the show who is from Missouri. Where's our Missouri friend? Missouri. Sorry. You're right, Missouri. You're exactly right. It is Missouri. Shame on Missouri. God, I sound like I'm in school or something. Well, anyway. Sweet Alice Chalmers, I loved you so long. Feels like I'm glued to your wheel. Your rustic exhaust pipe sings me a song. That sound is just as bad as I feel. Day after day, Lord, ain't nothing to do but point this old tractor ahead. I wish I was drinking a bottle or two and loving some sweet thing instead. I got a sweet running tractor, a 4-bottom plow, can't take the place of my St. Joseph gal. down round St. Joe. We lived over yonder ways. She swore that she'd love me body and soul. Just up and left me one day. A man could go crazy, stone deaf and blind, fighting that four-bottom plow, watching the black dirt roll over behind, the sun beating down on his brow. I got a sweet run track, four-bottom plow, but they can't take the place of my St. Joseph gal. Sweet Alice Chalmers, I loved you so long. It feels like I'm glued to your wheel. Your rusty exhaust pipe sings me a song that sounds just as bad as I feel. Okay. I think I'm going to do this just because I want to, if that's okay. A guy I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times. He wasn't the first guy to do this, but he's the first guy I heard doing it. Doc Watson. Along about 1825, I left Tennessee very much alive. Never would have made it through the Arkansas mud if I hadn't been riding on the Tennessee stud. Got into some trouble with my sweetheart's pa. One of her brothers was a bad outlaw. I sent her a letter to my Uncle Bud and got away on the Tennessee stud. And the Tennessee stud was a long lane, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve, he had the blood, there never was a house like the Tennessee stud. I rode south across a beautiful land and ran smack dab into an Indian band. Mounted their ponies with a no band to yell, and I got away like a bat out of hell. And I circled the camp just a time or two to show them what a Tennessee horse could do. Those Indian bucks couldn't get my blood, 'cause I was riding on the Tennessee stud. And the Tennessee stud was long and lean, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve and he had the blood, there never was a house like the Tennessee stud. Well, I rode south on across no man's land, crossed the river called the Rio Grande. I raced my horse with the Spaniards bold, won me a skin full of silver and gold. Me and a 3, we got in a fight over Tennessee. Jerked their guns, he fell with a thud, and I got away on the Tennessee stud. And the Tennessee stud was long and lean, color of the sun, and his eyes were green. And he had the nerve, he had the blood, there never was a house like the Tennessee stud. Well, God is lonesome as a man could be, thinking about my girl back in Tennessee. The Tennessee stud's green eyes turned blue, cause he was thinking about his sweetheart too. So I rode back on across Arkansas, up to her brother, up to Pa. And I found the girl with the golden hair, she was riding on the Tennessee mare. Stud was long and lean, the color of the sun, and his eyes were green. Had the nerve, he had the blood, there never was a house like the Tennessee stud. So stirrup, stirrup, side to side, across the mountains and the valleys wide. Came to big muddy ford at the flood on the Tennessee mare and the Tennessee stud. Little bitty baby on the cabin floor, little horse coat outside the door. I love the girl with the golden hair, and the Tennessee stud loves the Tennessee mare. And the Tennessee stud was long and lean, color of the sun, and his eyes were green. He had the nerve, he had the blood, there never was a house like the Tennessee stud. Had the nerve, he had the blood, never was a hoss like the Tennessee stud. I love it. All right, story time. This is actually a pretty good story, even if I did make it up myself. Ken, you were mentioning KGFN out there in Goldfield. And Vicki and I went about a year ago, maybe, to do my buddy Carl Brownfield's show on KGFN. He has a thing called the Carl Shop Show on Fridays, and he invited me out. So Vicki and I tootled down the road to Goldfield, Nevada, and I did a show. We had a great time, told some stories, jokes, played music, and it was a lot of fun. And one of the sponsors on the show at that time was something I mentioned a while ago. It was the Shady Lady Ranch. I mean, it really was. And I thought that was rather unique. So when I got back home, I'm on Facebook. I've got some Facebook friends, so you know I do that sort of stuff. And I'm telling this story. And I said, I've been doing this for 50 years, and that's the first time I was ever on a radio show that one of the sponsors was a brothel. And if you've ever been through Nevada, they are around. And you can there's a lot of nowhere, Nevada. Have you ever been to nowhere, Nevada? There's a lot of it. And you can be driving some road over there in the middle of who knows where, and suddenly, boom, there's a brothel outside. And they may have a landing strip and lights. I'm serious. You go, what the hell? And there's always one car. And I always imagine it's whoever runs the joint. And I'm telling this story on Facebook. I said I always visualize some 90-year-old lady with a face like a dried apple, sitting there chain-smoking Camel regulars and drinking black coffee out of a mug that says U.S. Marines. Boom! I lost 25 Facebook friends just like that. I thought, good grief, nobody has a sense of humor anymore. I thought that was kind of funny myself. But instead of getting all twisted about it, if you're a songwriter, you write a song. So this is not going to be what you think. somewhere out on 95, about halfway along your drive from Reno to Las Vegas. You'll go right past Trixie's Ranch, used to be the place to spend your wages. Trixie was the trucker's friend, but all that was way back when she was real good looking. She ain't on the game no more, got religion back in '84 and quit hooking. She still keeps the coffee on, and if you like it good and strong, it's free for weary drivers. It's all conversation now. The only love she shares is what's inside her. The lot out back is plenty big, so if you need to park your rig, there's room. Let her idle. You can rest your bones a while, take comfort in that same old smile, and get a word of hope from her old Bible. 'Cause the light's still on at Trixie's, not the one you used to see for 15 miles around. That one's still up on the pole, but it turned from red to gold. She never took it down. The light's still on at Trixie's, and it's the kind you don't forget. She'll place her hands above you when she says God loves you. God, she means it. Esmeralda County line, might be time to stop and see just how the old girl's perking. If you can only honk and wave, that's quite alright. She knows you're out there working. She knows your rig, she knows your name. It's good to know there's someone praying for you when you travel. Her door is always open, and she just sits there hoping you'll come her way if life starts to unravel. 'Cause the light's still on at Trixie's, but not the one you used to see for 15 miles around. That one's still up on the pole, but it turned from red to gold. She never took it down. The light's still on at Trixie's. It's the kind you don't forget. She'll place her hands above you, and when she says God loves you, God, she means it. She'll place her hands above you. When she says God loves you, God, she means it. Folks, I've had a great time tonight. This is a wonderful place to play, and I'd like to thank you all so very much for sharing your evening with me. And Ken, thanks for inviting me, my friend. I'll come back anytime you ask. Rocky's coming into sight. I've been up half the night driving this ancient car. Windows are down, I've been letting out the steel guitar. Out to the range where the rivers run, onto the plains where the wind and the sun comfort a mother and son when I'm not around. And tonight in the hills I'll pray on sacred ground, and someday I'll lay this old guitar down. From the start I was too good to quit, but never good enough to get ahead of the game. I met her one night, eyes full of light, the eternal flame. Built her a cabin with a hand-carved door, a medicine wheel to keep out the war, raging like a fire waiting for the rain to pour down. And tonight in the hills I'll pray on sacred ground, and someday I'll lay this old guitar down. Right where this old cabin stands, Arapaho and Cheyenne, pray to the Great Spirit to answer. I'm putting this lance away, and I'm coming home to stay, be your sun dancer again. But tonight in the hills I'll pray on sacred ground, and someday I'll lay this old guitar down. I know this old guitar's a friend, but I need a place to mend and a time to heal. Don't worry, darling, I'll be playing this old Martin again when I feel the rush of the music when nobody cheers, the joy of the tunes when nobody hears. Only you are there to hear the sound coming down. And tonight in the hills I'll pray on sacred ground, and someday I'll lay this old guitar down. And tonight in the hills I'll pray on sacred ground, and someday I'll lay this old guitar down. Lay this old guitar down, to lay it down. Thanks, folks. God love you. I appreciate it. Have a great time. Thank you.
Steve Spurgin. Steve, would you do another song for us, please? And assuming that he would, and maybe you're tired of this song, but Steve is a unrecognized songwriter for one of the greatest hits ever for Irish music. We just had St. Patrick's Day. So many people have been recording the song and calling it traditional, writer unknown. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the writer of A Walk in the Irish Rain.
If you're not familiar with this song, Ken is really telling you a true story.
All Catherines stand
Yeah, all Catherines are right. I was on a trip to Ireland. There's a culprit right there. With California, back about 1990. And I got back home to Texas, and by golly, I started writing Irish songs. I don't know if you've ever been. Who's been to Ireland? Have some of you been over there? I'll tell you what, it is more than its reputation. If you've never been to Ireland, save your nickels and try to get over there. It'll get into your blood so fast you can't believe it.
You'll be talking like an Irishman.
Especially the Guinness, it's way better. Anyway, Ken, if you don't mind, I'm going to do the whole trilogy. There's a thing called the Irish Sea Trilogy that I wrote, and it came from that trip to Ireland. The first song is called Cookie's Penny Whistle, and there are no words in that one. That means it's an instrumental. The interesting thing about that is, I was really lazy, so I just had the penny whistle player play the whole thing. I just played chords, it makes it easy. But what happens is, in the first song is called Cookie's Penny Whistle, and what you have is you got a young man who's heading out for a life at sea in the 1800s, and he's all happy and merry and all that sort of stuff. And the second song is called The Coralie. And in the second tune, our young man has gotten a little older and a little more experienced, and he finds out that life under sail in the 1800s is not always peaches and cream. And in the last song, A Walk in the Irish Rain, which literally has been recorded by who knows how many people now. If you go to YouTube and you type that in, it just goes, and which is flattering that a guy from Texas could write something that even the Irish think is traditional, which they do. I'm not kidding. But it doesn't do much for your bank account, but that's okay. Anyway, the third song, A Walk in the Irish Rain, our young man has grown up, gotten old, giving up a life at sea, and he comes home to his lovely little bride, his old, faithful wife, who's been hanging around all these years. And what you have is the most weird thing on the planet, which is an Irish song with a happy ending. So here we go. It's penny whistle. I can't play penny whistle and guitar at the same time. Well, they all came to see the good Coralie, and she tacked off in the sun. The vicar was there, and he said his best prayer for success on her far east run. And she rocked side to side with a gentle goodbye as her Ireland slipped from view. The good crew aboard in the year of our Lord 1862. And it's, hey lads, it's not that bad, we're only 2 years gone. If she stays afloat around the Cape of Good Hope, we'll bring the Coralie home. it's a heck of a life for any good wife whose man's most often gone. And when I get back, young Timmy and Jack will probably seem half grown. But devil the cost when the Southern Cross is hanging from the spar. 'Cause who wants to know a poor lad from Wicklow would ever go this far? And it's, hey boys, let's raise a noise for the salt that's in our bones. We're the toughest bark from Derry to Cork, and we'll bring the Coralie home. Young Patrick Flynn was an able man, a hearty 17. And I remember how his mother cried the day we put to sea. And it was all she wrote when the rigging broke and he tumbled to the Lord. We uncovered our heads with a prayer for the dead, then we cast him overboard. And it's, hey lads, it's not that bad, there's whiskey in the hold. When the sails are furled, we'll kiss the girls, then line their purse with gold. And it's, hey boys, let's raise a noise for the salt that's in our bones. We're the toughest to bark from Derry to Cork, and we'll bring the Coralie home. God is our guide, we'll skim the tide, then bring the Coralie home. When the sun goes down on Dublin town, the colors last for hours. Oh, the lights come on, the night's a song, and the streets all turn to gold. A gentle mist on heaven kissed like teardrops off an angel's wing. Don't you know it'll cleanse your soul with a walk in the Irish rain? And oh, Catherine, take my hand, I've got 3 pounds and change. I'll sing you songs of love again, and when I get too drunk to sing, we'll walk in the Irish rain. Forevermore, I've stepped ashore, my sailing days are over, roll through time and tide, I'm by your side, together we'll grow old. I threw my sea bag in the bin and brought these pretty flowers home. Kiss me, Kate, we'll celebrate before the bloom is gone. And oh, Catherine, take my hand, I've got 3 pounds and change. And I'll sing you songs of love again, and when I get too drunk to sing, we'll walk in the Irish rain. A tinker and a tailor and a drunken old sailor, they all get together and they start to play. Time stands still while they sing their fill, oh shout till the break of day. Sweet little lady with a glass of stout, sipping it down till the foam runs out. She'll help her old man home again with a walk in the Irish rain. Oh, Catherine, take my hand, I've got 3 pounds and change. And I'll sing you songs of love again, and when I get too drunk to sing, we'll walk in the Irish rain. And oh, Catherine, take my hand, I've got 3 pounds and change. And I'll sing you songs of love again. And when I get too drunk to sing, we'll walk in the Irish rain. We'll walk in the Irish rain. Thanks, folks.